Hey, so this is part 7. First thing I want to do is rename this left fork here. All right, so you're going to go over here to the browser on your left. All right, you're going to go to bodies because it's something you created. Components are things that you input from somewhere else typically. Okay, I click the arrow next to it so I can see all my bodies, the chassis, the right fork, and this is also called the right fork because you mirrored it. All right, so I'm just going to right click on this one, rename, and I'm just going to change it, the name to fork left, enter. All right, so you should always name your bodies. All right, so I have 3 bodies right now. I'm going to click the arrow next to this, so it closes that. Now, what I want to do is I want to offset some faces, meaning leave some space here for the fork to kind of move up and down freely, more freely. So I'm going to click bodies. I'm going to click the eyeballs next to the forks so they disappear. Let me drag this over so I can see properly. All right, and I'm going to go to modify. And I'm going to look for offset face. All right, that means either to make a space bigger or add more space. All right, so I'm going to click offset face. And now it's asking me what faces do I want to offset. All right, so I want to offset this face over here, this face over here, and this face over here, and the other one that's on the other side. All right, so I'm going to click on this one. Also click on that one. You don't need to hold down Control. You could just click the faces you want. This one. Kind of move this over. And that one right there. All right, so I should have these 4 faces offset. And I'm going to do it -2, meaning I want 2 millimeters more space around. So I'm going to type -2. And you'll notice that the space got bigger. I'm going to hit OK. And again, don't worry about those lines. They'll just seem, those aren't really there, I don't think. All right, so I'm going to hit the fork. And now you'll see if you look to the front, again, I just hit the eyeballs to bring them back so I can see them. Now you'll see that you have some space. Good. Now let's look at the view from the side. All right. And what I kind of notice about this is that I don't like this sharp edge, okay? Like this right angle right here. So we're going to do something that you're always going to need. It's called I think it's called the fillet. I don't know. I pronounce it fillet. All right. So I'm going to go to modify and fillet. Well, the fillet is like a curve. Okay. So it's either that one or you could just go to modify fillet or you could hit F. And I'm going to change it so I could see the back side of these forks. And I'm going to click on, it's asking me to what edge or face do I want to do. So I'm going to click on this edge here and this edge on the other fork. And if you drag the arrow, again, it just allows you to kind of see what it does. You see how it kind of makes a curve? All right, and you see the number changing? Let's make that 10 millimeters, all right? So it adds a curve so it'll ride on the floor better. Okay, I'm gonna hit OK. All right. And actually looking at it, I think this is too low. All right, so I'm gonna kind of cut my fork a little bit. So I'm gonna create a sketch on the face of the fork. Actually, before I do that, all right, I'm gonna unclick the eyeball of sketches. All right, and now I'm gonna click here on the side of the fork. And I just want to get rid of some of this material. So I'm just gonna draw a line kind of from here to the front to get rid of extrude some of that material out. So I think that's a good spot. do this straight across, okay? And it says 180 degrees, which is good. All right, and it locked on the end there. Boom. I'm gonna hit finish sketch. All right, now my sketch disappeared, so that means I gotta click the eyeball to bring it back. And I'm gonna hit E for extrude. I'm gonna click on this part of the fork. And now I wanna extrude this all the way to the other end, the other side of the other fork, so it cuts through both. All right, and I'm just gonna click on this face. And it says cut. And here's a little interesting thing. If you click on this little arrow next to objects to cut, I know I'm only cutting the forks and not the chassis. So I always open this just to make sure that I'm cutting only the two things that I want. And I'm hit OK. And now my forks are much better. All right. And again, I'm gonna add another, I got a little sharp edge here. I'm gonna add another fillet. So I'm hit F for fillet. Click on this edge, zoom in, click on this edge. I'm just gonna drag this up. Let's make it 5. Okay, and I'm gonna hit OK. Now my fork looks much better. All right, like it'll actually write on the ground. And these square edges here, I'm gonna also fillet. So I'm gonna F for fillet. This edge, this edge, this edge, this edge. And you'll see, if you ever, like if I wanted to fillet this edge over here, I don't have to turn the bot to do it. It kind of automatically detects through the material. Okay, but I'm not gonna do those. I'm gonna do 4 over here, top corner, top sack. All right, let's see what 5 looks like. I'm just gonna hit 5. Let's try 6 actually. Let's try 7, 8. All right, I think 8's the magic number. I'm hit OK. I was waiting till that space kind of disappeared on the top here again. So if I hit 5, kind of got this top flat part. I don't want that. I want to get rid of that. So I'm at 8. I'm gonna hit OK. And that looks much more clean. All right, rounded edges are always better. All right. So now let's make a top to the bot. Actually, 2 tops. I'm gonna make a top for this section here. And we're gonna make a top for this section here, okay? So before I create a sketch, I'm always gonna unclick the eyeball so I'm not drawing on a sketch instead of the body. I'm gonna click create a sketch. I'm going, now what face do I wanna draw on? I wanna draw on this top face here. So I'm gonna click on this face. Okay, and I'm gonna do what's called a 2-point rectangle. There should be one up here in your main bar, but if not, go to rectangle and 2-point rectangle. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, drag this over. I'm gonna start in this top corner here. And a 2-point rectangle, it's not a center rectangle, kind of lets you start at a point and end at a point. So I'm gonna start in this corner. I'm just gonna go, and it should lock here on the end. Boom, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna hit finish sketch. Again, my sketch disappeared, so I'm just gonna hit the eyeball for sketch and bring them back. Make sure only the last one is selected, the one I just made. I'm gonna hit E for extrude, meaning I want to turn the sketch into a 3D object. And it's asking what profiles I want to select. I want this profile, but you'll notice that it didn't select this outer edge here. So I'm also gonna select this one. Again, I don't have to hit Control because it's still on the select screen. I just want this to be 2 millimeters thick. So I'm gonna just type in a number 2. But look, pay attention. It's on join. Make sure it's on new body because it's a different part. Changes from join to new body. And hit OK. All right. And look at that. Now I have a top to it. All right, we're going to do the same thing on this face right here. Okay. So I'm gonna, again, unclick the eyeball of Create Sketch. I'm sorry, unclick the eyeball next to Sketches. Now click Create Sketch, and I'm clicking on this side face. That's the plane I want to draw on. I'm going to use my line function this time. So I want a right angle from this point right here. Actually, do I? I'm going to click here at the tip. Make sure it's a square so it locks. Actually, I don't want a right angle. I'm just going to move kind of straight up. I'm going to make this number 2. So it's only 2 millimeters thick. I'm going to hit enter. Now, we'll go to the top of the bot. And I'm going to make a line kind of straight up to match this a little bit. Line, I'm going to start right there. Again, I'm going to go up. I'm going to just type in a number 2. Make sure it's perfect. Enter. Now I want to connect these 2 lines that I just made. So I'm going to hit line again. Make sure it locks on the top of the line I just created. I'll zoom in a little bit. Bring this line. I'm going to zoom in to make sure I'm locking where I want to lock. Right there. Boom. All right. Awesome. So now I have like a front panel. I'm going to hit finish sketch. Again, my sketch disappeared. I'm going to hit the eyeball to bring it back. Okay. And I'm going to click on this. Well, I'm going to hit E for extrude. Click on this little section that I just created. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way. Hold on, someone's knocking at my door. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this side of the box. It's wondering where I want to extrude to. Okay. Now, you see if I drag this over, it just cut through the wheel. It cut through part of my wedge here in the front. All right. Don't worry about that. I want you to just click on the other side of the bot so it knows where to go. But remember, change the operation from cut to new body. And then hit OK. And now I have a cover. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to rename these bodies. All right. So we have a covered bot. So I'm going to right click on body 4, click rename, and you'll see that's the top here. So I'm just going to call this top cover. And I'm going to right click on body 5, rename, and I'm going to call this front cover. Enter. All right. And again, if I unclick the eyeball, they disappear. All right. Let's quickly change colors of things. So how do you do that? You right click on whatever body you want to change the color of. Actually, let's change the color of the chassis. I'll right click on it. You see the thing that says appearance? Hit A. And give it a moment to think. This takes a little longer. You'll see all this stuff pop up. And down in library, I'm just going to type in a color. I might type in blue. All right. Now you'll notice all of these things popped up down here. I'm going to click plastic translucent because that's just a normal looking blue. Where'd it go? Where'd my plastic translucent blue go? Okay. And I'm just going to hit the arrow next to it. And it should be downloaded. All right. When it stops moving, that means it's done. And what you got to do is you got to drag it onto the thing that you're doing, right? So I'm going to drag this blue onto the chassis. And now it's blue. I'm going to hit close. All right. Now I'm going to make my top. Let's make it. I'm going to hit right click on it, hit appearance. All right. I'm going to type in green because I'm a Seahawk fan. I'm going to go to powder coat. Click on the arrow next to it. It looks done. I'm going to drag this onto my top. Okay. Close on the front. I'm gonna right click on the front appearance. I'm gonna do white, although white never really shows up well here. All right. Leather matte. Let's see what that looks like. Hit the arrow next to it. It's done downloading. I'm gonna drag it onto my front. That's weird. I'm not gonna use. Not gonna use that. Oh, I'm just going up here to see what's available. I'm gonna drag opaque over here. All right, that's good right there. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna hit close. All right, we are done for now. Our next steps are gonna be to use the combine operation to make holes for all of these things that are popping through the front cover. Good job. Save your work.